Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. If you guys didn't know already, my name is Jade. Alright, so we have a couple different coming out stories. So my little timeline here, when I was 10, I identified as bi-curious because I definitely knew I was different. I definitely didn't feel things that I should have felt. I definitely didn't feel like I fit into a different category. So I definitely identified as multiple labels throughout my life, and that's fine because you can totally change who you feel like, what you feel like throughout your lifetime. Right, so starting off when I was 10, I identified as bi-curious. When I was 13, I identified as bisexual because I met a girl on the internet, really fell in love with her for the first time I actually felt things for somebody. Unfortunately, the long distance thing, because she lived in California, I lived in Maryland, so I definitely was like, oh, I definitely like females. I definitely love them and definitely feel things for them I did not feel about males at the time. When I was 16, I had my first sexual relationship with a female. It was definitely a love story for the ages. I definitely fell for them really hard. It was definitely a serious relationship. It was a long distance / not long distance relationship. Unfortunately, at the time, I was in high school, they were in college, and once they went off to college, unfortunately, we had to break it off. We're friends to this day, but that's a whole long 10 years of reconciliation there between that. When I was 17, I actually met somebody else who was a male at this time, who ironically enough lived in California, and he was definitely my first guy I ever actually started having feelings for. So then when I was 17, I started identifying as pansexual, because then I realized I pretty much would love whoever, whether you're a guy or a girl or non-binary, or I pretty much like whoever I pretty much would fall for whoever, either you're binary trans, binary female, binary guy. I definitely don't really care who you are as long as you're a good person. As far as my gender identity, it's definitely fluctuated throughout the years. When I was younger, of course, I was female, tomboy, androgynous. It wasn't until I was about 19, maybe 18, 19, on National Coming Out Day, that I understood what genderqueer or not meant. To me, it meant that you either identified as both or neither. I definitely identified as both at one point. I was like, I definitely have masculine days, I definitely have feminine days, and luckily for me, in the past few years, the term non-binary has been a thing, so now I identify as a non-binary, pansexual, well, more like demisexual. I definitely fall on the asexual spectrum, because the three people that I have fallen for sexually have all been, I've all fallen for them after a spiritual connection has been formed. I've definitely dated people who I haven't had a sexual connection with, but I have been romantically attracted to, so I'm definitely pan-romantic demisexual. And now, as far as me coming out, unfortunately, it hasn't been the best ride. When I was 13 and met said girl, my grandmother went through it was a shared computer, so I guess I should have known better, but she went through all of my text conversations with this female, and definitely saw me going on LGBT sites, because I wanted to figure out who I was. I was really confused back, this was in the early 2000s, so it was really hard to be I didn't have the support of YouTube and Tumblr and Facebook, and I don't really think MySpace was that big of a thing back then either. I had message boards. I met the girl of my dreams at that moment on a music message board. I think it was like MTV or something. I was 13, so I was a minor. I shouldn't have been on websites or forums, because I think a lot of the things was like 14 plus. But I met her in forums, and so she went through all of my messages through her. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. It wasn't really a thing back then. I had no cell phone until I was about 16, 17. I got one of those track prepaid phones. I definitely have upgraded. I have an iPhone now, and I can't imagine going back to like a normal like T9 texting, no color cell phone. I'm definitely at that weird point where I have younger friends that are more accepting to the word non-binary, more accepting to the whole demisexual, and definitely accepting to the whole panromantic. And then I have friends that are older that don't quite understand any of those things, that are like, well, you are who you are, you love who you love, whatever. They definitely don't respect the whole they, them pronouns, but they do respect me being called Jade. I've been known as Jade for the past 10 years. I'm legally changing my name to Jade hopefully soon. For a while, it was a pen name that I would use, that I would actually meet people. Oh, hey, my name's Jade. A lot of my friends still call me my other name. I actually don't mind being called my dead name at times. There are some people who are allowed to use my dead name, only because they're like, well, I've known you by this name for so long. And luckily for me, it's another J name, so it's no big deal to me. My dead name, I thought for a little while, I adopted as my middle name, but I don't know about that anymore. So, hey, it's whatever. I don't police my pronouns as much as I should. But luckily for me, my transition towards, you know, that 10-year-old to now have relatively been okay. But when I was 13, that's when it got really hard, because my grandmother threatened to kick me out. I was definitely mentally and physically abused by her, so it wasn't really the best, you know, when I was like in high school. So when I was 18, unfortunately, I did move out, and I was living with my friend's mom, who took me in and let me become an adult. But I've been pretty much on my own for the past 10 years. I'm 28 now, moved out when I was 18. I'm not saying that, you know, being 18, the best thing to do is move out if you live in a toxic environment. Definitely, if you live in a toxic environment when you're 18, you can legally move out. If you can afford it and you have friends that will take you in, please do so. But make sure that you know that, you know, you'll have financial stability, because unfortunately when I was 19, I became homeless because I couldn't afford bills anymore, because I lost my job when I was 19. Actually, no, I was 18 when I lost my job, and I was 19, I'd move out, and I was living on the street for a little bit. And luckily, I had friends that would let me sleep on their couch, and it wasn't until I was 20 that I finally got a place of my own. I had actually had to move to Illinois and live with an ex-partner of mine. And actually, no, I lived with my ex-partner's best friend, and then I lived with my ex-partner at that moment in time. And I've been fortunate enough to have very supportive friends in my life to take me in and love me and support me throughout everything. And I definitely want to be one of those friends that if you come out and if you have a toxic environment with your family, I definitely want to help people as much as I possibly can. That's why I wanted to be part of this video channel. And you know, not everybody can be like me. Not everybody can move out at 18. But I hear a lot of like coming out stories of especially being trans. And unfortunately for me, since I'm more femme passing, I definitely don't get as much discrimination as my trans brothers or trans sisters. I definitely don't get that much. I do suffer, I definitely do have dysphoria at times, and maybe one day if I decided I would legally transition to male, I will, or I decide to be non-binary for the rest of my life and just be a girl in boys' clothes, though I don't really like that term. It's important, though, when you come out, to have some support system. And I want to be your support system for you guys, YouTube. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and I will be, if you have a parent that is toxic towards you, I will be your parent now. I will be your parent. I will be your dad. I will be your mother. Oh, I'll be the sister or brother that you never have. And that's a good thing. With me being non-binary, I can be whatever you want me to. I can be your mom, I can be your dad, I can be your sister, I can be your brother. But hi, Thora. Yeah, say hi to YouTube, Thora. That's so great. Thora, I think I'm a good cat dad. Don't you think, Thora? Anyway, I hope people have a wonderful day. My name's Jade once again. I hope everybody has a good day. Bye.